think the first ride, it was approximately 100 people, and it was cloudy, and it was a little rainy that day.
But y'all brought that rainbow out, huh?
Yes.
Extraordinary people in our community, I would say, are positively Milwaukee. I'm excited to have you join us. PozCast.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Positively Milwaukee's PozCast. This is an opportunity where I get to meet some interesting, extraordinary people who I think are doing amazing things in our community, and I would say are positively Milwaukee. So joining me today is Ed Zamora, who is the president of Pride Ride Wisconsin. I thought it was important for me to talk to you about something you guys are so excited about, and that's Pride Rides. And really, what are Pride Rides?
Pride Rides Wisconsin was formed back in, I want to say 2018, about 5 or 6 years ago. And it was actually just a kind of like people that wanted to get together to do like a parade for Pride Fest.
Okay.
So there's a people that approach some people and like, hey, can you do this? You do some rides throughout the city. Can you do this for us? Okay, so they did. And then after that ride, because it was just like a parade route through the city of Milwaukee, everybody dressed their bikes up in rainbow colors and show the rainbows in the city. After that, there was about, I would say, 3 individuals that wanted to say, hey, there's no LGBT plus group that has just rides and get together for in the city of Milwaukee and just do these things. So let's start something. Mm-hmm. So it started with 3 people, 4 people joined. I was with my partner at the time, and we went. I think there was only 4 of us that rode for a first time. Mm-hmm. After that, then we started, hey, what can we get? What can we name it? So they named it Pride Rides Wisconsin after that initial ride, which was called Ride with Pride.
Did you find, though, that even before the group had come together, that you weren't able to find spaces and places where you could ride and feel comfortable in your full self showing up?
Yeah, and that's what some of it was, to show others and show people that, because there were still people that were like afraid or scared of the typical, say, biker culture. Okay. So they were like, well, they rode in different groups, but there wasn't necessarily actually to be themselves. So that's what we gave this basically a safe space to do this, and everybody's included. Whether you're lesbian, gay, bi, straight, queer, whatever it may be, everybody's included. And we have allies, too.
And I think that's also, sometimes think when groups are set up that those who also are in alliance with you are welcome.
Yes.
Did you find that when you did that first ride, it was freeing?
It was, because we had, I think the first ride, it was approximately 100 people, and it was cloudy, and it was a little rainy that day.
But y'all brought that rainbow out, huh?
Yes, because it was browny, it was cloudy, rainy, but people still showed up because they wanted this is something new, was something fresh, and everybody, I think, everybody was given a rainbow bandana to wear, so everybody got that when they registered. So it was kind of cool to have that, and for that first time, it was very. I would say I got a little emotional.
Yeah,
but I know others too. So it continued on for the second year, put on by the same people. I became part of that. I would say board that they had for it. But then once Pride Rides were still helping them, eventually Pride Rides Wisconsin took over that ride. So now we fully have it going. We have a registration. We have a long riding season for us that we have a lot of things going on. I think we have, off the top of my head, if you remember, 14
Well,
rides.
That's what I wanted to say. And I'm like looking at a card that you gave me, and it's not just one time through the year that we show our pride, that you really want people to know, hey, we can gather, we represent, and we want to be seen.
And we raise money. So we are an official 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're not a motorcycle club. We're not a riding club. We're an organization that have people who happen to ride.
And when you say raise money, where are some of the organizations you've raised money for?
For some of them that we've done in the past, one for the ones that's going to come up in July, the Andre Zamora Memorial Ride. That's for my younger brother who passed away. Was from heart disease. So we do American Heart Association. He also left some younglings behind. So Me and my older brother started a
Supporting
trust
them.
fund. So it's called the Three Brothers Trust Fund because it was my older brother, myself, and him. So the three brothers. So we called it Three Brothers Trust Fund.
The Three Brothers. Okay.
The big one that we do in September is Pale Horse. We do it for suicide awareness. The last 2 years we've been to keep us known in the community. We're doing what's called off season. So we have a riding season, and then like in the wintertime, like some of us will still ride in the cold.
You still ride in the cold?
Some will still ride in the cold. The last couple of years, I didn't put my bike away until New Year's Day.
Let me ask you this. When did you take your bike out
This year was April, I think I can't remember.
Is that early?
No.
Oh, that's not.
I don't think it's early.
Well, no, I just asked that because my fiance works for Harley Davidson and he's a big bike guy. And so we were having this conversation about, when it's nice out, you hear that, you hear the rumbles, you hear people out. But then it's like it was a one-off. So it's like usually people put their bikes up and maybe not bring them out till May. So we were having this back and forth. Like, I know I saw a bike on April.
It depends. First of all, it depends on the weather.
Okay.
Because there's still salt and snow. Basically, the salt. So if there's salt on the roads, when people ride their motorcycles, then I have to go home and wash it and get the salt off and all those other things. So some will wait until actually like May or June to actually take their bike out. But for us, for the off season, we keep it to keep us known in the community. We were doing things called the Motor Mayhem. So it's a off season event, and we were also raising money each month for that. So that's what we just got done doing in our off season. So. The past 2 years, we were actually doing stuff every month throughout the whole year.
Wow.
And we raised money for Pathfinders of Milwaukee. We did the Street Angels. We did Planned Parenthood. So it's not just certain ones. Since we're a nonprofit, we are trying to raise money for other organizations.
Riding with a purpose, right?
Yes.
Well, some people may have heard a little birdie in the background. I'm joined by not one but two members. So I'm going to ask your vice president to come on up here so we can talk a little bit more about what's going on with Pride Ride Wisconsin.
Awesome.
Okay. So I got Johnny Wade with me. Johnny, tell me, how do you guys define who can be a part of Pride Ride Wisconsin?
Well, Pride Rise Wisconsin is an intersectional group. We really value diversity and inclusion. The only criteria to be with us, you have to like motorcycles and be queer inclusive. So you don't even have to be queer yourself. You can be an ally, whatever. You just have to appreciate the space we provide.
So what drew you to the group?
I got my motorcycle license fairly late in life, right?
Okay.
2012. I went to MATC, got my license,
Did that class,
right? And then riding around. Then I was at one of the biker festivals, and I saw two people talk about Ride with Pride. They were talking about the event,
and your ears perked up.
and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I kind of started hanging out after that, and then eventually I got to know them a little more. And I was asked to join, and I did, and I got elected as the vice president. And been all in ever since.
And you mentioned something about, it's important that you be queer inclusive. How has this group given you a sense of feeling seen, heard, and appreciated?
So like I said, I've been only writing for a short while, but I've wrote with other groups, and it's always the same very heteronormative experience, very uber masculine and everything like that. And I'm confident wherever I am, but I've never been able to show up as my full self before. And that is when, sometimes if something doesn't exist, you help create the thing you need.
Right.
So that's what Pride Rise helps me do. Right?
And not only create what you need, but also giving people space so that they too can feel their full selves, right?
Yes.
And with the work that you guys have done over the years, as I've just learned, this isn't just about riding bikes, and it's not just about feeling inclusive. This is also about really making a difference.
Yes. Yes.
And for you, what has been some of the fundraisers that have stood out?
Particularly what we do for Pathfinders. My own child has benefited from that service, and just understanding, like me growing up queer in Milwaukee, realizing that, and I'm also a public school teacher. I've been an MPS teacher for 27 years.
Okay.
So I understand the need of children needing services. And often queer children are in, big amount of them are in foster care and face problems with housing and things like that. And so that's when my son came along, it was like, oh, that's the organization that he gravitated towards. And so that's when I learned about them. And then we came about figuring out how to do our off-riding events. What are some charities that are near and dear to us that impact the community? And that was one I was like, oh, yeah, that's one I'd like to talk about.
And where do you see Pride Ride Wisconsin, say, 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Well, we've experienced some exponential growth in the last year and a half. And I see more of us coming in, having different perspectives. I mean, we have educators, we have HR executives, we have, people from all walks of life. And it's just kind of nice to see that representation everywhere.
And I'm sure it's affirming, too.
It's very affirming. I don't have to walk into a room divided anymore. So it's like I'll be my full self. That's kind of where I just want to make another space for people like that coming up behind me.
And when you do that, there's a poem, when you shine, you allow others to shine as well.
Yes.
Do you see more and more allies joining in the rides with you? Some people may be, oh, that's just your space. You go ahead or do you say, no, come and join us?
Well, we ride everywhere.
Okay.
When we go out to bars or places around the county, other counties, we show up as we are. A lot of people oh, who are you all? And blah, blah, blah. What do you do? And blah, blah, blah. And they learn about our organization. Everybody knows someone who needs a space like ours. So that's why we really focus on, you don't even need to have a motorcycle. Not everybody in our group does, but we all have a space, though, to be ourselves and to hang out and, come hang out with us.
Hey, well, thank you for coming into my space.
Thank you.
And I hope that I've made you welcome and that we've shared just how more people can learn about Pride Ride Wisconsin and maybe join you on the street one day.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Is there someone in your community doing amazing work? An unsung hero or someone just with an inspiring story to uplift us all? Well, I want to hear from you because I want to talk to them. Why don't you reach out to me with the email on the screen? And the next time you tune in, they may just be sitting next to me here on the PozCast.